I want to talk about some things that bother me, basically with respect to traveling from Ghana to Europe. So, as you all know, my wife is Ukrainian. I was in Ukraine with her for a couple of years before I actually came to Ghana to just work on some documentation because to get married in Ukraine, you need to prove that you're not a criminal, and you also need to have some form of a document to show that you are single. That's a single declaration certificate. So that was the main reason why I came home back in January, and also to get a new visa for a work permit so that I'll be able to actually have a normal bank account, be able to pay taxes and stuff like that. So I left, came home, the war started, and she was pretty much stuck back in Ukraine. And then, fortunately for us, one of our friends who has a car was leaving, so she basically took my wife with her and they were able to escape. Mainly because we kind of lived close to the place where the massacre was, that's close to Bucha. So she left, and I was initially supposed to join her in Turkey, but for some reason, the Turkish embassy denied me a visa. Why? I don't really know. Initially, they said it was because I had a new passport, and in the new passport, it didn't indicate that my previous passport was missing. So I had to go and do that, apply again, and then they still denied the second one. So we just decided not to go ahead with it anymore because it's just a waste of money, especially considering the fact that it was pretty expensive. So we got married, prepared everything, and we decided that we wanted to apply for residency for her, so she will actually have a residence permit in Ghana. We went to the immigration office. They told us, oh, you will not be able to do so because your marriage is not matured enough to be able to apply for residency. And we were even asking, like, that is not the only reason why she should be able to have a residence permit in Ghana, considering that she is a person from a war nation now. So it doesn't make any sense. Well, basically, they said they were going to keep her passport for some time to be able to issue that. So we decided if that's the case, we wanted to travel for our honeymoon to Berlin. And if that is the case, then we would have to apply, get the visa. And then after we get the visa, travel. Then once we come back, we'll then be able to actually apply for the residence permit. So we left. I applied to Berlin, to the German embassy, and then I was given the visa. Now, after being given the visa, what happened next was we decided when we were going to travel based on the dates that we were given. So we just prepared everything, packed stuff, and then we went to the airport. Now, Turkish airline, we had tickets to go to Turkey at the time, paid for. And we asked them that they should basically try to extend the date for us. For some reason, the lady told us that to make our tickets open, it's not advisable because the ticket can get lost in the system, which doesn't make any sense to me. So it will be best just to choose a specific date far ahead. So we said, okay, no problem. Just fix a date far ahead. Now, back to us about to travel. We went there for them to fix a ticket for us. That's to fix a specific time for us. They said first there was no ticket available. So we had to pay a lot of money for them to change our class, ticket class. And apparently, initially, I thought maybe they're upgrading us to business class or something, but no, still economy, but it had a different class. No problems there. Had to pay a very huge amount of money. Now, the problem with that was that my wife then had two different tickets. She had a ticket from here to Istanbul, and then a separate ticket from Istanbul to Berlin. Now, for me, I had just straight through, so a direct ticket where I would just transition in Turkey, Istanbul, and then go directly to Berlin. Now, the issue here is that means that it's either I would have to pay for extra luggage, and my wife will have to go through the process of checking in Turkey, or we connect the tickets. So they told us, okay, if that's the case, we should go to the airport early and then be able to get the tickets connected. So no problem. We went again. So we left pretty early in the morning. Our flight was later on in the evening, but we left early. Our flight was later on in the evening, but we left early, mainly because of connecting the two tickets. Now, the problem was we got to the airport and the Turkish airline booth was closed. There was no one there. So we had to stand in front of their booth for hours, about 3 hours. No, I believe 3.5 hours, sorry, until they finally came and then changed the ticket. In 3 hours, they were there at 3. Check-in was at 3:30, but then the lady said we would have to wait till that time, specific time, for her to change or connect the two tickets. So after doing so, now there was a problem. She was saying that for the second ticket from Turkey to, that is Istanbul, Turkey to Berlin, she doesn't have baggage. Like, how come? How do you book a ticket without having baggage? All airlines book, you book with baggage. So then they tell us that we should go to the counter to check in. And when we check in, if they're able to print out the ticket for the luggage, then okay. If not, then we'll have to pay for the luggage. If not, her luggage is gonna get stuck in Turkey. So we went to the counter. Fortunately, I had a friend there who spoke with them, and eventually they did that, which was supposed to cost us close to about $800 for 2 bags, which is even more expensive than the tickets itself. All right, no problem there. We were able to get through that by the grace of God. And then basically we went on to immigration, basically filled out the immigration forms, then went forward to immigration to basically cross through, get our checks done, and then basically go to the gate and wait. Now, when we got to immigration, they said she overstayed. So we were a bit confused because we paid for a visa for 3 months, multiple. Apparently, they put a stamp in her passport for 30 days. And what pissed me off was that the immigration officer told me that I should have come in to speak with them when she was coming. And by so doing, they would have actually given her the full 30 days, the full 3 months, instead of just 30 days. So, under normal circumstances, she was supposed to leave Ghana in 30 days and then come back to Ghana, and then she wouldn't have overstayed. So, we said, okay, no problem. We didn't see it, we didn't check it. We just thought that the visa was 30 for 3 months, so we just assumed that she could be here for 3 months. We didn't expect this. And moreover, nobody told us anything because we went to the immigration office and they didn't tell us that her visa had expired or anything like that since they had the passports. We have all the necessary documentations to show the forms that we had to fill out until they told us that they were going to have to keep a passport for about 2 weeks. And we were also planning to travel. So they told us that if that's the case, we have to pay a fine. No problem there. We go to the office, and then the guy there, very rude. The other guy who actually took us to the office, extremely rude. I don't know why he was so pissed off or annoyed or something. I don't know whether he had a bad day or something. I don't know. But he was pretty rude. So we got to the place and asked them, okay, she overstayed. We need to pay this fine. How are we going to pay it? Can we pay by card or we need to pay by cash? And then he said, no, we need to pay by cash. So I asked where the ATM was. went to the ATM, came back, and paid the fine. I think it cost us 160 cedis. I took out 200 cedis, paid 160. So till today, I still have 40 cedis in my wallet. But basically, we went there, gave them money, and now he trying to explain to us why we were wrong. We've already paid you. No receipt was issued as to overstaying or anything. They just took the money, gave us back documents, and tried to explain to us why we were wrong. So after that, we just asked them, "Are we done?" They said yes, and then we left. Went through security, who just interested in taking money from you, asking if we have anything for them. I was so pissed off after the immigration check, and I just told the guy straightforward, please, I'm not in the mood, don't annoy me. And he just kept quiet. I took my bags, and then my wife and I went to the gate. It was so terrible. Like being a Ghanaian married to a Ukrainian who actually is from a nation where there are issues, and having to go through some shit, I just felt embarrassed first and foremost, because no other airport would actually deal with things like that. If you overstayed, they would just let you know that you overstayed, you pay a fine, and then you move on. Nobody is going to be intimidating you and try to feel like they are bosses or try to show like they are bosses and try to just ruin your day. But came to Turkey, no issues, nothing. They just looked at the passports and then they show you to your gate. You sit down, they check your tickets, security checks the ticket. We bought the flights from Turkey, went on to Berlin. No issues there either. We got there, they just asked us what we were coming here to do. We came here for a honeymoon and asked us if we booked a hotel. We just said yes. And that was it. They just stamped our passports and then we left. Nobody gave us any headache or anything like that. And mind you, nobody put a stamp in our passport that said that we needed to stay in Berlin for 2 days or for 1 day or for 5 days or anything like that. Why? Because the visa has a number of days. So they stamped it just like that. It just shows how you enter the country, whether you came by flight or you came by. Usually, if you have a stamp from Europe, you would see a picture, whether you came by flight or by car or by ship, whichever way you entered, it will show on the stamp that they're going to issue. And that was it. So, being a Ghanaian who is traveling, it's just strange how we make things so strict. The checks we had to go through just to get to the gate. First, we had to go through immigration, then went through security to check our stuff. And then, even after going through all the check and in the corridor going straight to the gate, someone stops us to ask us again, where are we going? What are we going to do? What is the purpose of our travel? Where is my residence permit? Or am I traveling with visa? I told her, she asked me, where's my residence permit? I said, what residence permit? I'm going on a visa. Why do I need to show you a residence permit? It's just ridiculous. I don't know what the hell is going on in that in that airport. I don't really know. It makes you even frustrated to even think or consider even traveling home just to visit family. Why? Because you know that once you get there and you're leaving again, you're going to go through all that stress. I just don't get it. What exactly they're trying to do? Whether they're trying to embarrass the country or embarrass us like we don't know what we're doing or some, I don't know. That we have to go through hundreds of checks before we get to a gate. It's just crazy. Came to Berlin and then we were on our way to Poland because that was the initial plan to come to Poland. The only thing is because in Ghana we don't have an embassy to Poland in Ghana, I had to go to Nigeria to go and apply for a visa there. So the only option was to apply to an EU country, and then once we arrive there, be able to make our way down to Poland. So it's just crazy. And even coming to Poland by train, I honestly didn't even know that it was like that. Like it just came straight. I just looked on the map and then I realized I was in Poland from Germany. I don't know how that happened. All I knew is that I just went straight from Berlin, just by train. We came in, no security checks, no nothing. We just came straight to our apartment, rented this place, and booked an actual apartment where we'll be staying for the long term. So basically, I'm gonna make a video to show you guys there, as I did showing here a little bit. But yeah, that's the story. So if you're planning on traveling outside the country, just be ready because you never know what's gonna happen in that airport. I don't know what happened. I don't know who caused it. Let's just hope that the nation gets better. Peace.